When I was looking for employment soon after I graduated, it was with some degree of difficulty. I know it generally is for a lot of people. You've just graduated and all of that, but I think having had the added component of being a foreign national did make it a bit more difficult.
Can you tell me a bit more about yourself, your background, and what you do at SALT?
Okay, my name is Alexander, and I'm originally from Zimbabwe. And I came to Cape Town to study, and I studied at UCT under social work. And I am on the marketing desk here at SALT, so digital marketing being a focus.
Are you able to tell us about your experience living in South Africa, just generally?
So having studied something like social work, which is very conscious about social issues and everything, it did give me a bit of more than just a bit of an understanding in terms of what the landscape is like. So I have pretty much looked at all these issues through that kind of lens.
Mm-hmm.
And even prior to me coming to South Africa, there were issues surrounding xenophobia that were happening in South Africa already.
Mm-hmm.
So I was aware that there was something of that nature that was at play.
Mm-hmm.
I have been fortunate enough to not have been a victim of any sort of xenophobia,
Mm-hmm.
but I definitely am aware that there are people that are from Zim as well that have experienced it firsthand.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Would you say that the COVID-19 lockdown accentuated or helped calm any of these issues, being xenophobic tension or racial tension?
So, speaking of the xenophobia bit, because we've just touched on that, I think it definitely made the undercurrent more apparent, in that you suddenly were finding a lot of people that were not South Africans finding themselves being caught out and falling through the cracks of the system, if you will, and a lot of people that found themselves suddenly jobless and without any sort of recourse in terms of helping them out or taking care of them, because a lot of people that are in this country that are not South Africans have been doing a lot of good work in the country, and a lot of people have benefited as a result. So when lockdown happened, everyone was affected, sure. A lot of people lost their jobs, but a lot of people that not South Africans I think they got the shorter end of the stick, from my opinion. And from a racial perspective, I think it's quite similar to how I would have seen things as far as xenophobia is related, in that there was that undercurrent or that tension already, and lockdown again made that a little bit more apparent, because you found that a lot more people that were directly affected or that got more severely affected were those that didn't really have that, I guess, any kind of cushioning to kind of tie them along, and unfortunately that did have racial lines with it as well. So it definitely did make it more pronounced.
Okay. And in your experience, what challenges would you say you've faced because of your background or your ethnicity?
I would say when I was looking for employment soon after I graduated, it was with some degree of difficulty. I know it generally is for a lot of people. You've just graduated and all of that, but I think having had the added component of being a foreign national did make it a bit more difficult. It's quite difficult to say if I had anything directly aimed at me in terms of a negative experience, because being now in the recruitment side of things, it's very possible that I could have been overlooked because maybe either my race or my ethnicity or anything like that, in favor of someone else that was not of that nature. I wouldn't really know that because it wouldn't be anything I'd be aware of. But it was just those difficulties and the challenges of getting employment and finding a space I was willing to consider that.
Okay. What is your take on BEE and the quota system? Do you feel that this is still relevant or important in 2020?
Yes, I firmly believe so, and I think it will be relevant for many years to come because there are a host of issues in the country that need to be addressed, and up until there is some kind of, I'd say, level playing field across all people in the country, then maybe then it wouldn't be such an important thing. But I think up until that time comes, which is not anywhere near to where we are now, it's going to be an important thing because I don't really, I mean, other than obviously addressing very strong or very relevant infrastructural things in the country, there is a need to sort of, you know, create opportunities for people that, you know, are kind of caught out of the system, if you will. So I think it is very relevant, and I think it's quite important.
Okay. All right. So another question we'd like to know is what diversity means to you. How would you define diversity, and what does it mean to you?
To me, I find it difficult to talk about diversity without inclusion, because I think the two they speak to each other in very real ways, and I'll explain what I mean by that. So diversity for me is the involvement of people of different social and ethnic backgrounds, and that does also include different genders and sexual orientations within that. Now, diversity is having all those people within a space, and I would equate that to having people in a room. But it's no benefit having people in the room if they're not being part of the room.
Lexi, would you say the industry you're in provides an environment for free, open expression of ideas, opinions, and beliefs?
Yeah, so my take on that is a bit twofold, because I'd say within the industry that I'm in directly, which that being recruitment and the space in which I do that work, I'd say yes to all of those, and it's quite a free space, and I can express myself freely without any sort of you know, concerns around that. But when I look at the marketing industry that I, in a sense, work for, or do the work in, it changes a little bit, and in some cases quite significantly, in that you have talking about an industry that is quite concerned with you know, image and saying the right thing, and saying it in a way that is, I guess, acceptable. So you do find, or at least I do find in some cases, it's not quite often, but there have been instances where you have, you know, certain requirements that are maybe not directly said but heavily implied, which would be suggesting, you know, looking at a certain racial group, I'd say. So that's my take on it, where I know that I have someone that is good for the job, but probably wouldn't be considered because of certain reasons. Maybe they don't quite speak so well. They don't enunciate as well as they would like, stuff like that. But again, it's not something that happens often. Every now and again it has come up, and maybe not so much directly with me, but maybe with some of my colleagues as well. But yeah, that's
Alright. Okay.
my take on it.
What do you see as the most challenging aspect of increasing diversity within the marketing industry?
I haven't experienced it myself or have had to do it myself, but trying to basically convince a client that someone is capable of doing the job, even though they are, you know, of a certain racial group that they wouldn't really naturally would want. But above that, just trying to get clients to sort of break their monocultural way of being, if it is that they have that. I don't think we have really made large strides in that direction. And it's something that I'll speak for the South African market, in that it's something that everyone is aware of.
Yeah.
And it's just perhaps maybe certain clients or companies don't either feel like it's something that requires direct attention, or they don't quite know how to address it.
Okay.
Because it's such a multifaceted type of issue to address, which it can be addressed. It's not an impossible thing to do. It is a process. It takes effort, and it takes resources, which sometimes can be, you know, not as abundant. But I think it's an important enough thing to want to address, to divert the necessary resources to make it happen. So it's baby steps right now, I think.
Okay. How would you advocate for diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging with your colleagues or clients who do not prioritize this?
Well, I think that in any space that has diversity, you can only have positives from it. Because you are, well, at the end of the day, people only know what they know, right? And if you want to stay in a bubble, you can, but the more you know about what's around you and what other people's walks of life have been like, it expands your worldview. And I think in a space such as the one I'm in specifically, being in recruitment, it's an incredibly helpful kind of exposure to have. And I can't imagine any other space where it wouldn't be beneficial. So yeah, again, it's comfortable to stay in a bubble, but having, you know, that expansive experience and exposure, it makes, I guess, life and work a hell of a lot more interesting.
Yeah. Definitely. How would you describe your experience? How would you describe the experience you had in working in and collaborating with others from different backgrounds than yours?
Yeah, I think it's been a bit of an interesting experience getting to know other people's backgrounds in terms of social ways of being, I guess, and just learning how other cultures are and just being sensitive to that, because it has happened before where I get to know a little bit more information about a different culture through someone that I work with, and I happen to speak to someone, maybe a potential candidate or just doing a reference call, someone who's of that same culture, and it makes it easier to establish that rapport and to have that kind of conversation, which feels a lot more than just a standard conversation. It feels like we actually are connecting, which I think is a vital thing to have again in a space like recruitment. So, and I'm a curious individual by nature anyway, so I like to know about other people's cultures and where people have been and how that has shaped their worldviews, and I also get to share mine as well. So it's a very, very mutually beneficial type of arrangement, I'd say.